At just 12 years old, Cristian Fernandez became the youngest person in Jacksonville's history to be charged as an adult for first-degree murder. This isn't a tale of an ordinary child, but of a boy whose life took a dire turn, thrusting him into the unforgiving world of crime. The gravity of his actions, committed at such a tender age, is a chilling reminder of the dark corners of human nature. A child turned killer. The story of Cristian Fernandez is a tale that sends shivers down the spine. In 2011, a crime shook Jacksonville to the core, and at its center was Cristian Fernandez. A typical sunny day took a dark turn when Cristian's 2-year-old brother was found lifeless. The toddler's demise rattled the community, but what escalated the horror was the revelation that the prime suspect was none other than his 12-year-old brother, Cristian. The investigation unveiled a chilling narrative. The toddler had sustained injuries that were far from accidental. A brutal blow to the head, allegedly inflicted by Cristian, led to his untimely passing. This was no ordinary crime. It was an act that defied understanding, an act that sent shivers down the spine of humanity itself. Cristian, a child barely into his teenage years, stood accused of an unthinkable act. He was too young to drive, yet old enough, it seemed, to commit a crime so heinous, it left a community grappling with questions of morality, justice, and the true nature of innocence. A sibling lost, a family shattered, and a community left in disbelief, all at the hands of a child. Facing the justice system, Cristian was not treated as a troubled child, but as an adult. The trial of Cristian Fernandez was surrounded by a whirlwind of controversy. Despite his tender years, he was thrust into a world usually reserved for hardened criminals. This decision to try him as an adult sparked a raging debate that reached far beyond the confines of the courtroom. Legally, the implications were vast. The decision set a precedent, blurring the lines between childhood and adulthood in the eyes of the law. It was a chilling reminder of how a child's life can be irrevocably altered by a single, devastating act. The public outcry was thunderous. Many saw the decision as a failure of the justice system to protect its most vulnerable. Others argued it was a necessary response to a crime of unspeakable severity. In the end, a plea deal saved Cristian from a life sentence, but the damage was done. The decision to try him as an adult had already cast a long, dark shadow over his future. Cristian Fernandez, once a child, was thrust into the adult world in the most brutal way imaginable. In 2018, a day before his 19th birthday, Cristian Fernandez walked out of prison a free man. His release marked the end of a dark chapter in his life. A chapter filled with unimaginable pain, confusion, and a level of responsibility no child should ever have to bear. The transition from prison to the outside world, however, was not without its challenges. The world he re-entered bore little resemblance to the one he had left behind. The friends he had once known had moved on. The neighborhood he had once called home was now a foreign landscape. The life he had once lived was now a distant memory. Despite his freedom, the shadow of his past actions loomed large. The public had not forgotten the crime he had committed. His name, forever linked with a shocking act of violence, was a scarlet letter he could never erase. The road to redemption was fraught with obstacles. Cristian Fernandez, once a child killer, now faced the daunting task of rebuilding his life in the shadow of his past. The child who was thrust into the adult world had to find his place in it once again. His story serves as a chilling reminder of how the justice system can irrevocably alter the course of a young life.